So, this one's gonna be about being indistractable. Yeah, I'm just reading it. And it is another book, and this is gonna be another book summary that we're going through because I felt like going through another book. But more after intro, as always. As always, as every single day. And with that being said, hello, welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics fucking podcast. I do actually wonder if my podcast is actually explicit and or if I'm just getting some issues afterwards. First of all, copyright issues because I'm so many websites and whatever, in terms of monetarization. Or is it monetization? You know what I mean, monetizing my shit. I do kind of wonder if this is going to be a problem because I'm on so many different websites and whatnot. And I don't know, it could be the case. It could actually be the case, but I don't know. And the second thing, I don't remember. But yeah, so we're going through another book summary, because I actually felt like going through another book. I am not quite sure if it is actually a good book. It has somehow good ratings, to be honest. 4.1 out of 5 stars, which is really decent, I have to say. And it is from a guy that I've been seeing before and that has written books before. And I think I've also covered one of his books before, but I'm not quite sure. I'm really not quite sure. But yeah, if you want to listen to this episode, which is actually possible if you believe it or not, then go down into the description if you're on the YouTube video and click on it definitely is not the first link, I guess, but it is the podcast link, just click on the podcast link and there you're gonna just be delivered to to the site where you can also choose where you want to listen to the podcast, because the podcast is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and actually on every single platform you might be on for listening to your podcast. So if you want to just listen to the podcast just because it is a way more efficient way to just consume this particular episode, then please check out the links, please go to the links, and please check out the podcast, if you like it more. This is the reason why I'm having it, because some people like to listen to things and some people like to watch things, Therefore, I'm having both, because I want to serve the people that are willing to be served by me, I guess. But yeah, before we actually going through the actual summary, I did just wanted to, yeah, that's me. I did just wanted to go through the kind of text on the back of the book, I guess, or just to see the ratings and whatnot. And let's actually go to Goodreads. And see what they're talking about there. So Indistractable provides a framework that will deliver the focus you need to get results. And this quote, ladies and gentlemen, is from James Clear, author of Atomic Habits. It is insane. Like, I've been featuring so many of his articles. And I think I've also been featuring Atomic Habits, but I'm really not sure. I guess I actually have not, because of certain reasons. I actually wanted to, and I was thinking about like a week ago or something, but then I decided like, nah, why? I went through so many articles, so it's fine, I guess, But there's something else as well, which is you sit down at your desk to work on an important project, but your notification on your phone interrupts your morning. Later, as you're about to get back to work, a colleague taps you on the shoulder to chat. At home, screens get in the way of quality time with your family. Another day goes by, and once again, your most important personal and professional goals are put on hold. What about... So it is actually a pretty long one. I'm not going to read it. But this might give you just a hint into what the book is going to be about. And something that I'm going to link down in the description is this particular summary that we're going to go through now, And it is from the SamuelThomasDavis.com website, a website that I've been I think it actually was the first book summary site that I've been on to feature a book on the podcast, and it is just a great website. First of all, it is for free. Second of all the summaries are relatively short, and just last of all, it's just a good website. It is just a good website, even though it might not be the detailed one or the most detailed one, but the thing is, yeah, I mean, like, if you're just making something really, really detailed, then of course it's not going to be as short as this is, you know. And I do think that just a summary is kind of a quick look into something, even though it's also great to have some really detailed summaries sometimes, you know, which actually then in the end are kind of a to replace the book, basically. You know, it is actually then the case that you just have to go through the summary, especially on the alancheng.com website. So Alan and then Cheng with CHENG.com website. It is really the case, you know, these summaries are so detailed and so long that you do not have to go through the book anymore afterwards, you know. You do just have to go through the summary. The thing is, the summary is really long, you know. It is not like, okay, you're going to save yourself a lot of time, but you're going to save yourself quite some time, you know, but it's still really not a short one. Like, it's going to take some time to go through it, you know. It depends on the book, obviously, but quite a few of them are really long. It is just insane. But let's actually see what this book is. And I do assume that it is actually not such a young one, or it is actually quite a young one. I think, I don't know, what do they say? What do they say when it was released? It was actually released on September the 10th, 2019, I guess, but I'm not quite sure. I am really not quite sure. Well, it could be the case. I don't know. Let's see what Google says, you know, because most often they are right. Okay, it was published in August the 6th, 2019, so it is still a really young book. And it is actually also the newest book summary here on the samuelthomasdavis.com website. But now I'm going to read without wasting any more time, you know. The book in one sentence. Being indistractable is about understanding the real reasons why we do things against our best interests. The 5 big ideas. The first one is, being indistractable is about learning to channel master feelings of dissatisfaction to make things better. The second one, to master internal triggers, learn how to deal with discomfort, observe urges and allow them to dissolve and reimagine the trigger or task. The third one, to make time for traction, turn your values into time and schedule time for yourself in important relationships and sync your calendar with stakeholders. The fourth one, to hack back external triggers, defend your focus, send fewer emails, get in and out of group chats at scheduled times, and turn off desktop and mobile notifications. The fifth and last one, to prevent distractions with pacts, plan for when you are likely to get distracted, make unwanted behaviors more difficult, and call yourself indistractable. I especially like the last one. You know, I gotta have to say that there's definitely gonna be certain times, and I totally believe that you might know that about yourself. I might know that about you, but you definitely gonna know it about yourself. There's gonna be some times in the day, or maybe in the week as well, you know, some days in the week where you're just not really productive. And by somehow automating this, which might be possible, but I do not really know, by automating the fact or the thing that, you know, your notifications get turned off and all the other distractions somehow get turned off, and by actually structuring your day in a certain way that there's just something very specific in this time frame where you're just not really productive. You know, maybe you're doing some sports in this time frame, you know, which might be a pretty good way to build a bridge across this kind of time span where you're not really productive, you know, and or do something else. I don't know. It's about self-awareness, I guess. You know, you do just have to think about it yourself and figure it out for yourself because you know best. You really know best about yourself. Indistractable summary. Living the good life requires not only doing the right things, but also not doing the things we know we will regret. Being indistractable, according to Eyal, I do hope that it is actually pronounced correctly. So it is Y-A-L. So Eyal is about understanding the reason or the real reasons why we do things against our best interests. It leads me to something really interesting, you know, that I've also been featuring on the podcast and I have also been talking about on the podcast, and it is actually doing things even though we know best, you know, because it is often the case, you know, that we human beings know a lot of shit. We really know a lot of shit, you know, but often it's the case that we are still acting against our own knowledge, which is something that doesn't make any sense. It really does not make any fucking sense. Even though I do just understand the people, I understand us that we're doing that, because I don't know, of course, drinking a lot of alcohol and just getting fucking lit and whatever is fun, I assume. I really assume, but in the end, you're gonna feel really fucked up and really shitty. If this is worth it, it's just something you have to kind of figure out yourself, I guess. Some people will say, yeah, of course, and some will say, no, fuck you. But I don't know, like often we know actually best, or better at least, and we're still just doing fucked up shit. And I'm doing it as well. Like I often would know best, especially about just some self-help things and some things that I'm just constantly talking about. But I don't know, something that another life coach actually was talking about on the Tony Robbins podcast is that actually using all the tips that you're having for other people and using it for yourself is definitely really difficult. And it is way more difficult than people think it is, I guess. And that often it is the case that life coaches need life coaches. And I think it was even the case for this particular life coach, but I'm not quite sure. But I guess it was. But anyway, let's move on. Part 1. Master internal triggers. We can be indistractable by learning and adopting 4 key strategies. The first one is mastering internal triggers. The second one is making time for traction. The third, hacking back external triggers. And the fourth one, preventing distractions with pacts. I guess is pacts like just something like, okay, the guerrilla group made a peace pact with the government. Yeah, agreement. Yeah, I thought about that. But I wasn't quite sure, I wasn't quite sure. Key takeaway, being indistractable means striving to do what you say you will do, which is actually a quote by the author himself. All motivation is a desire to escape discomfort. If a behavior was previously effective at providing relief, we are likely to continue using it as a tool to escape discomfort. However, you can't call something a distraction unless you know what it is distracting you from. It's actually a pretty good point. It is actually a really, really good point. But I do just have to say, because he says, all motivation is a desire to escape discomfort. If a behavior was previously effective at providing relief, we are likely to continue using it as a tool to escape discomfort. And it totally makes sense, But the thing is, I do believe that you should just really figure out what it is that you're doing to actually get out of the discomfort or escape discomfort, because discomfort isn't really that bad. And I really believe that we're subconsciously actually fucking sabotaging ourselves and fucking us up. I think it is actually the case, and I think I was talking about it in the last episode that I was recording today, but I'm not quite sure. But I don't know. Like, I think it is actually the case, that a lot of people are just sabotaging themselves subconsciously, not consciously. I think this isn't really something that a lot of people would be doing, but subconsciously, yeah, I would say so. I would really say so. But yeah. Being indistractable then is about finding the root cause of distraction rather than blaming proximate causes. Zoe Chance, a professor of Yale University, escaped the pain of her impending divorce by racking up striff points on her pedometer. What the fuck is a pedometer? Please do not be what I think it is. An instrument for estimating the distance traveled on foot by recording the number of steps taken. Oh, I didn't know that. And I think that you probably know what I was thinking about. But yeah, what the fuck. So to ensure our survival, we are evolutionarily wired to feel easily dissatisfied. Without discontentment, we wouldn't look for further benefits or advances. Yeah, I gotta have to say so. Like, it is something that actually bothers me sometimes. That I'm so dissatisfied sometimes with certain things. But the funny thing is just. In 1 second, everything is totally fine. I'm satisfied, I'm feeling good. And in the other second, or in another second, is just coming after this 1 second, I'm feeling so fucking unsatisfied or dissatisfied with whatever. It is really extreme sometimes, And I sometimes even think that it is something that I have to struggle with, and I kind of have to struggle with a little bit more, because of certain reasons I really don't know. But I don't know. Like, I'm feeling this satisfaction really often. Actually, always when I'm not doing something or I haven't been doing enough this day that is somehow productive or somehow smart or somehow makes sense for my life and for myself and for the things that I'm willing to achieve, then I'm really getting pissed. I'm really getting pissed and dissatisfied and feeling bad and whatnot. And it's pretty funny. Like, it's not funny, but funny in a sense of interesting. More like interesting. 4 psychological factors make satisfaction temporary. The first one is boredom. It really is the case. It really is the case. I can't be bored. I can't be bored. I constantly have to do something. I can't do nothing unless I'm meditating, but then I'm still just doing something. The second one is negativity bias. The third one is rumination, and the fourth one, hedonic adaptation. Being indistractable is not about escaping from discomfort through distraction. Yeah, it should really also not be the case. It is about learning to channel master feelings of dissatisfaction to make things better. Now I know it, or I understand it. So I do just still think that you understand it, but still I'm gonna kind of reconstruct it or deconstruct it. Consciously feeling dissatisfied, I guess. This is what he is willing to go for, actually. And I do really believe that it is actually a pretty good strategy. It really is, because, I don't know, I think everybody just knows how it is just feeling dissatisfied with whatever it might be with your life. And then we actually have kind of this feeling to do something, just immediately, really immediately. And if you can just consciously trigger that feeling, then it would just be really amazing, because you could just, when you're feeling down and you're feeling like, okay, I'm really not productive, I'm just willing to go home or whatnot, whatever it might be, then if you're triggering that, then you just suddenly get this boost of motivation and this boost of you just have to do something, then it is just nice. It is really nice for your productivity and for whatever you're doing. Resisting an urge can ironically trigger rumination and make the desire grow stronger. Yeah, I don't know why. It would actually be very interesting why it is the case, because I don't know. We can manage distractions that originate from within by thinking differently about the trigger, the task, and our temperament. Furthermore, by reimagining an uncomfortable internal trigger, such as an urge to Google something, we can disarm it. The following 4 steps help handle intrusive thoughts. The first one is look for the emotion preceding distraction. The second one is write down the internal trigger. The third one is explore the negative sensation with curiosity instead of contentment. What is even contentment or contentment? Contempt of contempt. I guess it is pronounced. I'm really not sure. Scorn, disrespect. I guess it is really not the exact same thing as disrespect. It might be just something like that. But so be cautious during liminal moments. And liminal moments are relating to a transitional or initial stage of process, occupying a position at or on both sides of a boundary or threshold. One way to master intro, so I'm gonna just recap it once again. So the 4 steps to handle intrusive thoughts, which actually are internal thoughts. Extrusive would be just external things. The first one is look for the emotion preceding distraction. Or preceding distraction. The second one is write down the internal trigger. The third one, explore the negative sensation with curiosity instead of contempt. And the fourth one is be cautious during liminal moments. And there's going to be an editor's note. Liminal moments are transitions from one thing to another throughout our day. Why did I actually kind of look it up? It is something that happens to me so fucking often. Interesting. One way to master internal triggers, says Ian Bogost, a professor at the Georgia Institute of Technology, is to reimagine an otherwise boring activity. I would say, really imagine an activity that is way more boring. Is it way more boring? Way more boring than whatever you might be doing right now. And maybe something that also might just help with doing something that you because I guess it is actually about some things that you do not like to do, actually, and it's going to be the day, or it's going to be the time where you do have to do something that you actually don't like, even though I'm really an advocate of just doing what you like to do and what you're passionate about and whatever, but sometimes there's just going to be the day, and it's going to be the time where you just have to do something that you're really not into. And the best thing to do then is to, have perspective, I guess, and to just reimagine and imagine how other people are feeling right now, or what they are doing right now, because just right at this moment where I am basically recording this episode, somebody else has to fucking starve or fight for their life, potentially. It could be the case. In theory, chances are pretty high, to be honest. And or somebody's just not having anything to eat. This person is really fucking hungry. And I don't know, perspective is one of the things, at my point of view at least, that could really help people with being a little bit more grateful and a little bit more happy about those things that they're actually having, because we are having a lot. We are really having a lot. If you're mowing the lawn, for example, instead of running away or rewarding yourself, look at the activity differently until you discover new challenges you didn't see before. For example, beating a record time and some things like that. To reimagine your temperament, Eyal advises, avoiding believing willpower is limited. Labeling yourself as having self-control, and the third one is practicing self-compassion. I'm going to recap that. The first one is avoiding believing willpower is limited. Oh, now I get it. The second one is labeling yourself as having self-control. Yeah, really important. It really depends. It just really makes a difference how you think about yourself. Even though it is such a thing that has been talked about so often and for so many times and whatnot, it actually is the case. The third one is practicing self-compassion. And self-compassion is actually... please look that up. Thank you. Self-compassion is extending compassion to oneself, and I do not know what compassion is. Maybe I should just sympathy, fellow feeling, empathy. Okay, I'm gonna go with empathy. I like empathy. Now we are not able to finish up with this one today, unfortunately. I would like to do that, or I would have liked to do that, but I still guess we are just going through a Quora question, because I haven't, in a bunch of episodes that I've recorded today, have I actually been on one today? I'm really not sure. Fuck, I'm really not sure. Never mind. So I might be going through a bunch of questions, because sometimes there's just such a lot of questions, and some of them are going to just take some time, and some of them are just really easily answered in a few minutes and seconds and whatnot. The first one is, how many push-ups should you do per day? Or should we do per day? I don't know. I wouldn't even say that you should do push-ups every single day, but having a dedicated day where you're doing push-ups. Because I don't know, if you're doing really a lot of push-ups, then you're going to fatigue. And first of all, the possibility is then there that you're hurting yourself, hurting your muscle and those things. And it could also be the case that you're just plateauing in the end, plateauing through or in the process of trying to actually progress. This is also one of the reasons why a lot of people then do not work out for a week and something to actually kind of get rid of the plateau effect. I might be talking about this just in a later episode as well, to actually get some knowledge as well, because this is what I know. Just what I've just said is what I know, but there, I kind of feel like there could be just way more, and is maybe also way more. How can I stay motivated to work out? I listen to speeches often and videos, just videos that are showing you some buff dudes, and if you're a girl, just pretty sporty girls. And those things, and I think they really helped back in the days, and they still help, because, I don't know, you see what you could be, and you're still not, and whatever, and this could just really motivate you, or you just think about the health benefits of what it has, and especially also the benefits that it has in terms of your mind as well, because your mind will work better, your whole body will work better in the end, you're going to have more energy, you're going to be able to just work more and longer and whatsoever. So it's the overall benefits of working out are just so huge. You're also feeling great. Also maybe confidence if you're a really shy person. But yeah, many things. How does exercise boost mood? I would say through hormones. So there's actually the question. I would actually say through hormones, and I don't know which one. There are actually four main ones: serotonin, is that dopamine also one of them? I'm not really sure. Or is it about pain? I guess these are about pain, but I don't know. Maybe just subconsciously there just might definitely be something that is doing it, but also consciously the experience you're having when when you're finishing with something, like, and that you've done something, done something that wasn't really easy. You've went through the whole workout even though it was just really hard and whatnot. So I guess just this is also going to boost your mood somehow, but there's definitely some biological shit as well, for sure. How and where do you get inspired when doing art? Usually by checking out other artists and other art, and also websites like designinspiration.net, I guess it is, but I'm not quite sure. Just type in design inspiration and or Pinterest. Actually all websites could also be Instagram, where you just see other art and get a lot of inspiration, and you can see a lot of different things. I wouldn't suggest like things like Behance, because I kind of feel like you just having to go through just a lot of things to find something. Of course, there's just many great works there. Of course, totally. But I kind of feel like for me, design inspiration and dribble as well, with 3 Bs, I guess, DRIBBBLE. And yeah, just watching other shit, I guess. And also trying out more, like trying out different things, The next one. What can you say that will inspire me? You will die. No, I don't know. How can you find inspiration in life? Inspiration? I don't know. Like I would. I think doing a lot of things and just experiencing a lot of things and trying to experience as many things as possible, because this then actually shows you how many things are in life, and it is not about just 2 or 3 things that might be on your mind right now. I guess. I guess. Should we go one last one? What should I do to change myself completely? That's another good one. Actually reload the page. This could actually help me. Please reload. I'm really sorry. Meaningless. Can you design meaningless stuff? Nah, don't think so. There's always going to be a meaning inside. For some people. Not necessarily for everybody, but I guess for some people there might be some meaning in it. One last one. I do just want to... what are some sleep hacks and tips? Good one. I've actually made a whole entire episode on it, but I'm just going to recap a few things. Temperature should be cold, relatively cold. Just it should not be freezing or whatever. It should just be like feeling good, because then dopamine's gonna really being produced when it is cold, because usually when it is night, even though you are in the fucking desert, if you're in the fucking desert, there's temperature is gonna be low, and blue light, just maybe you're having just some yellow glasses and whatever. These could help you if you're really having severe problems. White noise, listening to white noise or brown noise or just other noise types. Then just not eating something really heavy before you're going to bed, because this just obviously might not be a good thing. Then only sleeping in your bed and not studying and working and whatnot, because then it would be associated inside of your brain, inside of your body, that it is not for sleep. But if you're only sleeping there, then it is only just for sleep, and your body knows, okay, when you're just being in bed, it is time for sleep. Maybe having a routine. I'm meditating always before I'm going to bed. You could also be doing that, and also that you're kind of priming your body and you're kind of showing your body, okay, Now it's going to be time for you to go to bed and rest and sleep and whatnot. No caffeine, no alcohol. I think nicotine is also not really good for sleep, and drugs in general. And I think this is quite it. Yeah, I think that's quite it. So yeah, this is gonna be it. This is gonna be it with the episode. I do hope that you've liked it. I do hope that you've just figured out something through this episode, maybe, and I even hope that it helped you quite a lot. And I do not even know what I've been. Oh, I went through a book summary. Yeah. Oh my god, it's so fucked up. I would actually like to just have a longer episode. I sometimes feel like 30 minutes is a little bit too short, because I'm often just really speaking so fast, and I kind of feel like that it would maybe even be better sometimes when I'm not speaking so fast, because I also wouldn't make so many mistakes, and I could just be a little bit more conscious maybe about what I'm thinking and talking and whatever, and it could just also make the whole experience a little bit better. But then in the end, I often just get into this speed speaking kind of mood and whatnot. I don't know why. I really don't know why, because it could also be just way more kind of chilled. It would actually be a little better. Maybe I'm gonna do this the next day recording, because this is actually for tomorrow, for Monday the 30th of September 2019. But yeah, I wish you the best health, of happiness, and all success. And I also hope that you're going to remind yourself on how you're going to be remembered, which basically is your legacy, And the thing is, no matter how nice you are, no matter how generous you are, there's still going to be somebody that hates you or just dislikes you, It's just going to be the case. I think chances are way too high, when you think about 7.7 billion people. It is pretty severe, gotta have to say. And 3 other questions that I hope that you're going to ask yourself are: what are you trying to change? Why are you here? And what is bothering you the most? These 3 questions hopefully are going to show you your purpose in life, and maybe even some business ideas. Could also be the case. And yeah, if you've liked the episode, and if you've liked the podcast, show, episode, whatever as well, please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel and also to the podcast. It would really mean the world to me. Really, really, really mean the world to me. And I'm hopefully going to see you the next time. Bye, I guess. Stay happy, stay cool. Life is good. Life's really good. Even though sometimes it's shit, life is really good.